They know the customer experience isn't just another thing, it's the only thing. Let's join Angel and Eric for today's program.
Hello and welcome to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for ours. We're here to empower you to build your brand and get your business right.
2018 is your year, making sure you're using all the resources available to you so even more people have heard of you. We're going to help you generate some more leads today. I think for business owners, we get so caught up in the doing of our business and the creating the systems. We're filing our business cards and, we've got fancy note letter or Post-it notes and all this stuff. We're decorating our office. We're making Facebook Live videos, but we're not actually generating enough leads. And so we're going to give you some tips according to HubSpot. And the first place that they start with is talking about how to use LinkedIn for making sure you're generating more leads.
Use LinkedIn.
Use LinkedIn. He says, though, most of us are not using it effectively for generating what they call here at HubSpot, top of the funnel activity. He says it's a salesperson's dream to be able to connect in a high value, low effort way to find interested prospects. And so here's some things you need to do using LinkedIn.
Yeah, if you're going to use LinkedIn, you need to first and foremost post a professional and relatively current picture.
Relatively current. I think people take that word relatively a little too far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have some friends who are still using their glamour shot from the 80s. Let me finish. For those of you with the glamour shots, let me finish with a sentence that reflects your professional demeanor. There's a lot in here. Okay, professional. Yes. Stop the park, the car. There, professional photo.
Professional.
Relatively current.
That means, good Lord, there's another personality in Denver radio who is.
Well, once we get of a certain age, Eric, there's no real benefit.
The dude's hair
there's no real benefit in updating that picture for those who don't see us in person, especially when we're on radio. When you're on radio,
he sneezed in a cloud of dust.
A 20-year-old picture is relatively current enough, especially. I mean, we're in an industry that, frankly, doesn't age well. We sit inside, windowless rooms, sitting on our duff.
Why is it that you look like a supermodel having this conversation with us? Seriously? You're the only person in radio who actually exceeds the expectation of what their voice sounds like. And what you look like.
Make sure it reflects your professional demeanor. We're talking about how to generate more leads, and we're starting with using LinkedIn. It is, I know every now and then I get a little bored, I think, with LinkedIn. I go back to Facebook because that's where I play. But LinkedIn, it is
very powerful.
It is very powerful sales tool. So try to connect with as many people as you can, right? The more connections you have, the wider your reach will be.
Occasionally share an update. Actually post something in the software.
You mean add value?
I think maybe.
Add some value. And, how many people use social media and they're just stalkers on social media?
Right.
Comment. Add something. If you find a great article, somebody posted an article, you looked at it, share that and add your comments into that.
While you're messing around in LinkedIn, get a couple of recommendations. How do you get a recommendation?
You give one.
Hello.
And so don't ask for them. You give them. And LinkedIn then this is the most brilliant thing. This is my favorite piece of LinkedIn.
Your connection, Angel Tussey, just gave you a recommendation. Why don't you return the favor?
They do the hard work for you. But most people, before you are willing to pour it in and be a giver and do something first, add value first. How often do we jump in and we want other people to do something for us? I want you to recommend me. I want you to give me business. I want you to give me a coffee meeting. I want you to do this for me. We need to add value first. So make sure you're giving recommendations. He says extra credit if you broaden your professional brand to all the other social media sites as well.
Absolutely. How about this? Interact with your connections on LinkedIn and or other social media.
Interaction.
In social media, I'm going to clue you in, folks, and this is not rocket science, it's people science. The word social is there for a reason. You got to interact. You got to engage with people. In today's busy world, you've got yoga friends, work friends, neighbors, and more. but they exist in separate buckets that don't necessarily intersect, right?
Let's bring them together.
Bring them together. What's the glue? You. On the radio.
Glue them and converse with them.
Right.
Now, I think that a lot of times when we think about our personal and professional networks and we put them into two separate buckets, this is a hard one, Eric, for people to get over. But
social media blurred the lines.
Long time ago, blurred those lines. You can't be one person in one bucket and think that that's not going to roll over into another. And so I think sometimes it's a little scary to think we're going to mix our personal and professional branding online. But here's the thing. It's being done no matter what, whether you think you can separate it or not, you can't. Other people are blurring that line for you. And when we talk about even getting reviews and recommendations, and if we think, well, if somebody's going to say bad or something bad about me, or they're going to comment about, we have a really bad follow-up system, or our product breaks easily, whatever it is, and you're not getting the reviews or that feedback, you're the only one. Everybody else is already talking about it.
True.
And so you want to make sure that you're involved in all of those conversations. Networking is still super valuable way to build relationships, but it's shifted. It doesn't just happen at an in-person event.
No.
Networking is happening virtually. It's happening online.
Correct.
In virtual online groups. And I know a lot of times we're like old dogs, right? I really want to get in my car. I want to drive through traffic, sit in traffic. I want to hunt for a parking spot.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you want that?
It's because it's what we know. It's familiar.
It is.
And I know there's a value in having those conversations, and it mingles off of the professional conversation a lot.
It's like the poop in a baby's diaper. It's what you know. It's yours. It's familiar. You still want to keep it?
It is funny, those toddlers who don't want their diaper to be changed, right? It's mine.
Sorry for the visual, folks, but
really
that's
gross.
the way that it is.
It is really gross.
So why don't we just say, something, embrace the new thing. GoToMeeting.com was one of the very first trendsetters, and they came out more than 10 years ago with the idea of taking the meeting virtual, right? So that you don't have to be in the same room together to be in the same room together.
I know.
And now there's Zoom. There's probably 16 others, including one right here in our home broadcast state of Denver, or state of Colorado, city of Denver, that has options for you to connect online. So do it, folks. Get on board.
I'm even seeing conferences now streaming live their conferences, so you don't have to get on an airplane and go to these conferences. It's not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same experience.
No, it's better.
So, but it's okay that it's different. It's okay. And we have to embrace that. We all had to embrace social media. Some of us still are kicking and screaming with how to use it.
He just wants to come out and say, come on, pansies, let's get together. Let's get off the thing and let's get online. Let's change it up.
Once you've done it, you really start to see how valuable it is. I can have a meeting with a whole group of people across the country, or I can be meeting with people in California and an hour later be hanging out with a whole group of people in Texas. And I do it all from the comfort of my office. And you have to, I've even seen some different expos going to this virtual and online space. If you don't want to embrace the new technology, then you really pigeonhole the growth of your business. We're talking about generating more business. And if you want to get something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. And so let's think about it differently. You can break it down, but just don't turn it down.
So as we're talking about how to generate more leads, it all still revolves around relationships. It doesn't matter what business you're in.
You're in the relationship business.
You're in the relationship business. So don't be afraid to exercise new technology. What was it that you said, Angel, just a minute ago? You can't complain about.
Oh, you can't complain about services that are being provided to you if you're not using them. So the answer is, folks, use them. Don't just try them. It's there for you.
It is there for you. I tell people, you don't try on a parachute, right? Parachutes are not the most comfortable things, folks, especially when you pull the ripcord. It's going to rip. And it's going to rip right in your most vulnerable section. and you just have to get used to it. But it's going to save your life. You're not going to become a pancake.
Notice your voice went up a little bit there.
I'm sorry.
Are you wearing a parachute there?
I just pulled the ripcord.
Right? It'll save your life.
So,
so use social media.
Are you getting the visual? Are you picking up what I'm laying down?
To identify people you can help. Offer some freebies to get them into your system, tap into your personal network, and go to networking events.
Listener Ann says, wow, it's great to see you both together again. Thank you, Ann. We appreciate you for tuning in. Angel and I will be back right after these messages. You're listening to the home of positive business talk. This right here, this is the Experience Pros Radio Network.
The Experience Pros.